At the time of recording this video, we are about a dozen subscribers away from hitting our goal of 2,500 subscribers. So I think it's safe to say that tomorrow's video is going to be very special because I'm going to be doing the giveaway and announcing the winners tomorrow. We're so close. So if you haven't already, please join the channel, be a part of it. What am I talking about? This is your last chance for this giveaway. The Galarian Articuno tin from Crown Zenith going out to one lucky winner. I'm also doing 2 3-pack blisters of Stellar Crown. Right there. There you go. 2 of those going out to 2 additional winners. And a Pokemon mystery prize finally going to be revealed tomorrow when we do our giveaway. All you got to do is like, comment, and subscribe. Be a part of the channel. Specifically, I need you to go to this video here and leave an additional comment. If you haven't already, make sure you leave a comment there. That is the video where I'm going to be pulling winners from. That's where that journey started, and that's where it's going to end. Tomorrow, we are announcing winners, and we are going to hit that goal of 2,500 subscribers. Today is Friday, and we are looking at our little Fight for First Friday. So let's dive in. We are actually done with the Legendary Collection. Moving on to E-Series cards, or E-Card Series, rather. These are interesting, and definitely a small little piece to the TCG, and we're going to start with that Expedition base set. 165 cards, a lot of interesting ones. It's really kind of cool looking back on these because while I didn't collect these at the time of release, and I haven't gone and tried to collect them anytime since returning to the hobby, it's interesting to see how iconic some of these cards have become. Not just the e-card reader here on the side where you'd literally swipe it into your game and you'd be able to have that crossover between the TCG and the actual video games, but beyond that, some of these artworks, some of these Pokemon have become so iconic in this series and others, and it's really fun playing this game, discovering that along the way, because I really wasn't familiar, and I'm like, oh man, I don't know if I'm going to know enough about the set to go into it, and I really don't know a whole lot about the sets, these older ones, these middle value sets where I definitely wasn't a part of it, but the early stuff, yes, the more modern stuff, of course. It's interesting because you see something, you're like, oh, that's where it came from. That's where it was. And it really kind of ties a lot of those pieces together when you're in the hobby at this stage, and kind of how I view it, how a lot of people view it. A lot of people returned after 151. We expect to see more coming in when it gets down to that Team Rocket set coming up. So I think that's an interesting aspect of the hobby, is where you get to look back and you start connecting the dots of all these really iconic cards and these iconic sets that I didn't really know too much about. So I will digress from that and get into this. We have the same format. They have the little barcode reader here that you would swipe in and go through there, and we're going to look at just the top 10. It's really that simple. It's the top 10 best-selling cards according to TCG Player. Not the best metric, in my opinion, because these higher dollar, rarer cards are not going to be easily listed and found and then bought there. You'll see on a lot of these, there's very few sales over the past year, but it's an introduction to the set. It's a fun, interesting approach on how to observe the set, and we're going to be starting out in that number 10 spot with Gengar. I believe almost all of them are actually holos from this set, which at the time was the top tier. There were no alt arts or anything like that at the time. It was a holo would be your high hitter, and then a non-holo rare would be available as well. But man, these prices are pretty crazy, but you can be crazy when there's only like 3 sales in an entire year. You can put the price wherever you want, and because of that, in the near mint, low pop here, that's a reverse holo there, and then this is the holo foil, bringing it up to 200. At least they put a picture with it. If you're going to be spending that kind of money, you might want to have a photo with it. But a really fun little Gengar, really extra dark, not a whole lot of dimension, just these funky little highlights going around here. This looks like really dramatic, these like wingtips coming off of there. A little bit different. It almost makes these Pokemon feel like they're different, or they've really, no pun intended, but evolved over time, not from one to the next, but in their own way. I really love this super tight frame right up on Golem, just barely fitting in there, making him feel even more massive. But the window here was way beyond the standard of what we were used to. It would have come down a little bit further here, and even probably pulled in a little bit tighter on the edges, although they're trying to make up for this huge barcode. But it gives this weird little panoramic window, or more so panoramic window. And here we are, not too bad when it comes to a holo or reverse hollow, I guess. So maybe a lot of reverse. There's near mint. We're in the $45 range. I don't know if the prices matter. It's really just trying to take a second, step back, and enjoy the artwork, enjoy the era. Look at this Pidgeot just doing a dive bomb right there. Really good texture in that background, going in that same motion. Everything just has this textured pattern, lines going, and the highlights into the shadows, into the highlights, into the shadows, into the highlights, and it's a pattern. It's a very easy lighting pattern from our perspective of this particular Pokemon here. Very few sales, but it really just, one, will set the trend for that new timeline, and it'll be pretty much based off of that, with little hops up or little hops down is what you'll see on most of these. Going into Ninetales, really cute there. Love Ninetales. Who doesn't like Ninetales, you know? But only one sale in the last year. Isn't that wild? One time. Again, you're probably not seeking these out on TCG Player. Maybe you're going to find these at a card show. Maybe you're going to find them at a local game store. Maybe you're looking for the complete hollow set and you're taking them one at a time and adding it in there. I've only selected near mint as the condition. You can look at anything, but condition is going to matter, especially the older you go in these sets here. And vintage doesn't always mean value. I mean, we have the reverse hollow here. Market price is saying only $11, and we've had a drop off just in the last few months on this Rapidash here, but we're really in the $20 range, the $60 range for the hollow rather than reverse. So market prices are going to be hard to pinpoint and be feeling that that's realistic. You're going to be looking here for a little bit more on these few sales, because it will just do the cheapest listing, and then you have the real chart down below. But look at that, one page, only a handful of listings at best. What do we got? Five listings total, and 4 of them are for the hollow. And they're all pretty much in that same range. I mean, that's pretty widespread in modern today, but when it gets to vintage, those few dollar differences between there, going, you know, $8 difference between the cheapest to the most expensive, is not really that far apart, because it's hard to find these, and they're going to have a little bit wider range that you could be purchasing. So you might want to look for the better deal. That's fine, but again, seeing these in person is going to make a difference there. Really like this one here. The quality on TCG Player, the quality of these scans or these cards is not great, but you get a good idea for it with Typhlosion. Such a great Pokemon there. Came down a little bit, popping back up. Meaningless in my opinion as far as reality goes, because this is where reality is. What's actually listed? What are people asking for? What are people willing to spend? You have a little history here. This is reverse hollow though, but even still, those have jumped up with expectation to be closer to $40 range for the reverse hollows. This is the only non-hollow in the list today on that Charizard. Well, it's Charizard. You're going to pay a Charizard tax, right? You're going to have to be closer to that almost $100 mark at $90, and those are pretty solid, that they're really trying to compete. And then we pop up here to 170. Wow, that's crazy. Reverse hollow going insane, because it's going to have some sort of hollow variation on an otherwise non-hollow card. Having that reverse hollow takes it to another level. Blastoise, I love this one and the next one, and they kind of just work out really well. Blastoise coming right at us here, the viewer coming through the water, just full steam ahead, and coming with a vengeance and a crazy price tag, right? So reverse hollows at 116, 400 on that, and a PSA 8. That is wild. Absolutely crazy. But, you know, at least it's slabbed. You have a little bit more there. I don't know if that's really the best way to get your PSA slabs is through TCG Player, but very interesting there. Blastoise, we're just on the surface of the water looking down on him, it looks like. For Alligator, we're just under the surface of the water looking up at him. So I thought those two next to each other kind of is really cool, because they're final evolutions of 2 iconic starters. And here we have similar cards. What do we got in way of similar price? Reverse hollow. We don't even have a hollow available for this one, so I can't really get the full picture on where that's at, if they would be comparable or if there's a little bit difference between those 2 generations. So not a lot of sales. That is the trend. And the number 1 pick, would you be surprised? It's Mew. So flippin' cute to have Mew fitting fully in the frame there. Reverse hollows putting you at 175. 1 sale in the last year, and that's the only listing available in the near mint condition. So pretty insane stuff there. I thought it would be fine to point out that if you're just looking for the artwork, if you're looking for the chance to get a taste of a set like this, go to the non-hollows, and maybe that will suffice for you, because look at the Gengar here in a non-hollow, bringing it in, and near mint, $34.72. All right, $35 is what you're looking at on this one, and it has been climbing. There's more common sales there, $35 versus the holo version that's putting you into this wild price of $200. Okay, so if you want a taste of it, going with the non-holo is a good option there. Not that I'm not surprised or something, because that's just not how this filtering system works to pull up the top 10. It's the top 10 best-selling based on the data in there, whatever. But had to point out this Charizard because it really is an iconic card. If you haven't seen this Charizard, welcome to this introduction here. And the fact that you're seeing this thing for the near mint at 460, that Blastoise was at 400 slabbed. So yeah, this is pretty wild price there, and then a big shift upward there. My goodness, it's tempting to even take a look at how is it so low there. It says hollow. Looks like it's hollow. Okay. Condition looks pretty darn good. Little maybe spotting there. Hard to tell, but I definitely would be looking quite intensely at these pictures, making sure you're feeling good about it before spending almost $500 on something like this. Pretty insane prices, but they're pretty insane cards, Very interesting, and kind of fun to just take a moment, take that break through the week, and look back at these older sets, looking at Expedition today. The first of the e-card series, e-card reader series that we have in the Pokemon TCG. And there's only a few more, so we'll take it 1 week at a time, but only a few more subscribers to go. And I swear tomorrow is going to be the day. This is your last chance to enter to win that Galarian Articuno tin from Crown Zenith. Your last chance to enter for the 2 3-pack blisters from Stellar Crown right there. And your last chance to have a shot at the Pokemon Mystery Prize, going out to 4 lucky winners. All you have to do is like, comment, and subscribe. Be a part of the channel permanently. And to be entered in this contest officially, if you haven't already, go to this video here. That's the one where you want to leave an additional comment and make sure that you are entered to win by leaving your comment there. And don't forget to hit the bell, because I post 7 days a week. And with that, I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.